She'll be assisted by Sister Becky Ron, and they'll be speaking on the topic of why life in the New World will never be boring. And the session will be giving a house-to-house presentation.
Thank you for inviting me in. I'd like to share a scripture with you that talks about a wonderful promise from God, the promise of everlasting life. I'd like to read John 17:3. And it says, "This means everlasting life. They are taking a knowledge of you, the only true God, and of the one whom you sent forth, Jesus Christ."
That's beautiful. First of all, I just have to commend you, a young person, for going door to door and sharing Bible scriptures with your neighbors. But let me ask you something. How old are you?
12.
Well, I'm much older than 12. You, as a 12-year-old, I'm sure you think of the prospect of everlasting life as something very exciting, but have you ever heard that expression, been there or done that?
Well, no, I haven't.
Well, I have been pretty much everywhere I wanted to go and done pretty much everything I wanted to do. So for me, the thought of everlasting life, well, that would just be very boring to me.
You have been everywhere and done everything? Wow, that is amazing. But my science teacher taught us that we only use 10% of our brains. If you have access to the rest of the brain that you are not using, don't you think there could be some other things that you could do and see?
Well, maybe.
Well, that is why God gave us this promise. Because He knew with perfect brains, there could be no end to what we could do. And that is why the Bible also tells us something important about God. I want to read Deuteronomy 32:14.
Okay.
And it says, "The rock perfect is His activity, for all His ways are justice. A God of faithfulness with whom there is no injustice, righteous and upright is He." So everything God makes is perfect. We can only imagine what we could do if we used 100% of our brains. What are some of the things you have seen and done?
Well, probably the highlight of my life was a safari trip I took to Africa. I went there last summer and it was awesome. I was able to see all different kinds of animals. It was just fascinating.
Well, the Bible also talks about animals. Would you like to read Isaiah 11:6-8?
Sure. 11:6-8? Okay. It says, "And the wolf will actually reside for a while with the male lamb, and with the kid, the leopard itself will lie down, and the calf and the maned young lion, and the well-fed animal all together, and a mere little boy will be leader over them. And the cow and the bear themselves will feed. Together their young ones will lie down, and even the lion will eat straw just like the bull. And the sucking child will certainly play upon the hole of the cobra, and upon the light aperture of a poisonous snake will a weaned child actually put his own hand."
When you saw the animals on the safari trip, you were in the car, right? Well, how would you like to see and touch them in person?
Oh, well, you can't do that. That'd just be way too dangerous. That's just impossible.
Well, that is what the scripture is telling us. That in the paradise, we can play with all the animals we want, and they won't harm us at all. I've never played with a bear or a lion, and I've never held a voice to a snake. I've never swam with killer whales and great white sharks. Have you done any of those things? And does that sound boring to you?
No, I haven't done any of those things, and it surely does not seem boring.
Well, in the paradise, you'll be able to do all of those things and more. In the paradise, everyone will love God and their neighbors. Imagine being surrounded by unselfish people who love you and will spend time with you. Do you think you'll be bored in their company?
No. Well, you know what? This just sounds way too good to be true.
Well, if God promises this, then it will definitely come true, because God never lies.
Well, Miss 12-year-old, I have to say, you've got me thinking.
Well, I'd like you to have this book, and to think and read about this chapter. What is God's purpose for the earth?
Wow, that does look interesting. Thank you very much. I'll read this.
You're welcome.
job, Sister Brown. We certainly appreciate that nice, enthusiastic delivery of that information. Something you did during your talk that I liked was, I liked some of the points that you brought out. I thought were really, really good. Like the first point you brought out about the brain, about using 10% of the brain, which is nice. I mean, anytime we can help add facts or points that the person may not have thought about, it can help add to our argument. One point that you were bringing out there was talking about how life wouldn't be boring in a new world. Now, she may not have known that we only use 10% of her brain. She may think we use 100% of it. But by you being able to pull that particular point out, you were helping her to relate to what you were bringing out, the point that you were making. And you also brought up the point about the animals and so forth also. You were very warm in delivering that. So you were appealing to her heart, something that she may have decided to do herself.